Gary Jones from Trinity Racing, and what we just got done is we rode the Cat Wildcat over here in some of the sand dunes we have and some of the whoop-de-doos, and did a little test with it. I was mostly impressed with the suspension on the Wildcat. It really had plush, good suspension on it. It went through the whoop-de-doos pretty good. It only bottomed out a couple of times in some really deep ones, but it was really plush and really rode nice. Well, the overall handling of the vehicle was really, really well. It was kind of like driving a little mini race car. You had lots of room inside the cockpit there, and the steering wheel was padded really nice, and had good brakes. The throttle worked really smooth. At real high speed, it worked really, really well over the little bumps. Let's say you could get up some speed and hit some bumps, so 6 to 10 to 20 inches high, and it just went like they weren't even there. And then some of the big deep whoops, it worked really, really well too. I bottomed out in a few of them, but I think you can adjust the suspension. There's a lot of adjustment on that suspension. But the comfort of the machine was really good. It had a good wraparound seat around the back end of you. I wished it would have had a 6-point harness instead of a 3-point harness. It was a little wide and big in the front. For me, I'd like to have some place where I could brace my leg if I was turning hard, sharp corners. Other than that, it had a really plush steering wheel on it. The brake pedal, the throttle worked really well. There was a little difference between the throttle and the brake pedal. I wished it could have been a little closer, a little lower to it. But that's just my preference. Had really good brakes. I was really impressed with the brakes. So we were going from almost wide open to a stop really quick in the sand. It just dove and stopped really good and straight and smooth. And then I was ready to accelerate again. You know, it really worked really, really well. I liked driving it in two-wheel drive because you could slide it and spin it around a little bit. But when it was in four-wheel drive, it seemed to work better in the corners. It would want to pull itself around instead of just spin and slide so much. But you could still slide it a lot in four-wheel drive. I think it would be better for dunes and desert and fast, higher speed stuff because it really does seem to handle really well. And it feels light when you're driving it. Well, we haven't got the reliability out of it yet because we've only driven it a couple of times, but so far nothing has gone wrong. We haven't heard any squeaks or vibrations. Everything seems really tight on the car. You got to put more time on it before you can tell how long it's going to last or how hard you drive it. But the cost is probably, half of what a big race car would cost is something like that if you had to build it yourself. And it's probably priced right there in the market of a race car. It's pretty fast. Okay, and the Wildcat, I think it has really good potential for aftermarket product on it. You could do some high compression pistons, some cams, some big bore if you wanted to, even stroker kits. Also, the exhaust system could be way better. We've already got some stuff that we're working on right now that'll give it more horsepower, more power, better torque on the bottom, and better top end.